You'll be blown away by this. The world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange, Coinbase, is making every effort to boost the ripple of XRP. Doesn't it sound crazy? What price, though, are they aiming for? It is up to you to determine the answer to that query. According to cryptocurrency analysts, XRP may increase to $122,580.00. Quite awesome, as you cannot afford to pass up this chance. This may be your last opportunity to purchase XRP coins at such a low cost. Let's get right to the point without further ado. Disclaimer. There is more to attorney John Deaton's recent analysis of Coinbase's decision to introduce regulated XRP futures contracts than a simple synopsis. It marks a turning point in XRP's protracted and tumultuous interaction with U.S. authorities. Coinbase Institutional declared that it had submitted a self-certification application for XRP futures to the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, characterizing the product as a capital-efficient and regulated method of gaining exposure to one of the most liquid digital currencies. On April 21st, the futures contract is anticipated to go live. A multi-year tale of legal ambiguities, official inaction, and a community that refused to back down lies behind that pronouncement, though. Deaton's answer provided insightful background on how we arrived at this point. He reiterated in his thorough post that Coinbase has already concluded that XRP was not a security in January 2019 after conducting an internal legal study. Some of the most seasoned securities lawyers in the cryptocurrency industry came to that view. Coinbase actually met with the SEC and provided an explanation of their reasoning prior to listing the asset. They informed the agency that unless the SEC specifically objected, they intended to proceed with the listing. But the SEC didn't raise any issues. There were no threats from the authorities or warnings. Coinbase formally listed XRP in 2019, soon after it started marketing USDC and XRP as quick and inexpensive ways to make international payments, an obvious reference to XRP's practical use. The twist then appeared. The SEC sued Ripple Labs in December 2020, alleging that all XRP coins were unregistered securities regardless of how they were obtained. This action was deemed to be in bad faith by Deaton. He noted that Ripple was compelled to register XRP as a convertible virtual currency as part of a 2015 settlement with FinCEN, something the SEC has long been aware of. Ripple was previously subject to stringent reporting and auditing requirements under that agreement for years, including monitoring each and every XRP sale between 2015 and 2020. The XRP Howey Analysis Memo, which Deaton describes as an internal SEC memo authored by SEC enforcement attorneys in June 2018, is possibly the most damning. Deaton said the memo did not support issuing a stop and desist or suggest enforcement action. According to Deaton, that quiet shows that the SEC didn't consider XRP to be a security even at the time. The SEC's later complaint and its early quiet are glaringly inconsistent. Ripple wasn't the only one caught off guard. Exchanges that had functioned under the presumption of legal certainty, such as Coinbase, also did this. The lawsuit caused turmoil in the price of XRP and caused it to plummet off of key exchanges. The community, however, refused to give up. As Amici Curiae, more than 75,000 XRP investors entered the case, and they witnessed a significant triumph in July 2023. According to Judge Annalisa Torres, when XRP is exchanged on secondary marketplaces, it is not a security. The decision was a huge victory for Coinbase, Ripple, the whole cryptocurrency market, and particularly for individual investors who had been left behind for years. The story is now shifting as Coinbase has filed to offer XRP futures under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. This is a moment of vindication for Deaton. Imagine the massive waste of money, resources, and time, he remarked bluntly, referring to it as the culmination of a war that lasted for years. However, we prevailed. A strong message is also conveyed by the decision to pursue XRP futures under the Commodity Futures Trading Commission's supervision rather than the SEC's. Instead of presenting XRP as a security, it presents it as a commodity, an action that might allow institutional investment to flourish. If Coinbase wasn't certain of XRP's legal status, it wouldn't take the chance of promoting this product. It's not a minor point that the Commodity Futures Trading Commission is overseeing it. It's the result of a gradual change in the way U.S. authorities are starting to handle XRP and possibly other digital assets in general. Lawsuits, delays, and regulatory ambiguity have all been part of XRP's journey. However, this action might mark a new stage. one in which the token actively shapes the direction of regulated cryptocurrency trade rather than battling for legitimacy. We prevailed, as Deaton stated. Furthermore, Coinbase is now doubling down. The price chart might show the next victory. This is the actual query that people have been posing, though. From here, how much higher can XRP go? Could Coinbase's action be the catalyst that propels Ripple to new heights? More significantly, will XRP holders eventually see benefits that will change their lives? Legal and cryptocurrency professionals have voiced their opinions, and their predictions could astound you. As a result, the story surrounding XRP is changing more quickly than ever, and if you're not listening, you could miss the next financial revolution before it happens. One thing has always the same for devoted XRP holders despite the world seemingly floundering through crisis after crisis: faith. The world has fallen, but at least you have XRP, as Amanek so eloquently stated. That feeling isn't merely a joke, it's a reflection of the XRP community's growing quiet confidence. Technically speaking, traders like Steph remind us to see past the noise of the moment. On the longer timescale, XRP is still showing a notable upward trend, he stated. It's only a matter of time till the following leg is higher. Zoom out if in doubt. He's correct, too. The bigger view may be seen by zooming out. A digital asset that has survived regulatory storms, recovered, and is currently the focus of important institutional discussions. People are also having enormous dreams, huge. The president declares that the market, particularly U.S. cryptocurrencies like XRP, is set to soar and that our country will flourish, as cryptocurrency influencer King XRP humorously tweeted. But now that Ripple is forming more international alliances and central banks are investigating virtual currencies, it doesn't sound so crazy. More dramatically, according to Ripple Pumpkin, over 98% of individuals will sell their XRP after $10 and $50 0 cents. The reason I'm here is to see the price surpass $100 0 cents. This perspective is in line with an increasing number of long-term holders who think that XRP's value in a fully tokenized environment will drive prices well above current levels. The over $350 million 0 cents entrepreneur Patrick Bet-David made one of the most audacious predictions, stating that XRP would eventually hit $1,000 0 cents. The most outrageous of them is the tweet from Crypto Geeks, which states that XRP will reach $10,000 0 cents in the US. Although the number appears absurd, it reflects a very accurate and intricate research conducted by Valhill Capital. Based on the tokenization of global wealth, Valhill's XRP collateralization model estimates that each token has a whopping $122,580 0 cents in fair market value. Their calculations show that the figures start to make sense if the estimated $5.30 quadrillion global wealth were tokenized, and XRP was crucial in collateralizing that amount. By 2030, their model predicts that tokenized assets would have grown to $6.20 quadrillion with a 1.25x risk adjustment. You get at $122,580 0 cents when you divide that by the amount of XRP in circulation. It's really speculative indeed. Indeed, it necessitates widespread acceptance and a thorough overhaul of current financial structures. The seriousness of the research and the level of consideration that went into these appraisals, however, is remarkable. There's more to these than moonboy fantasies. They have their roots in economic theories and changing facts regarding the interplay of value, money, and technology. One thing is evident, regardless of whether you're aiming for $5 0 cents, $50 0 cents, or $100,000, 0 cents.xrp is no longer just an